Hello everybody and welcome to a busy site in Birmingham. Well, it's not so busy at the minute, but it will be busy soon. For those of you who don't know, I'm Rob. I'm from the MYH podcast and I also go out giving talks on the site, just letting people know a little bit of information about it's okay to ask for a bit of help, where to get that help and how to access that help. And that help comes through a charity called the Lighthouse Club. As you can see behind me, I have got loads of goodies here, which I will be handing out. I'm going to give a full talk today. That talk includes my experience over the 23 years that I've worked in construction, how I got to this point and what I did when I wasn't looking after myself, and also what I did do to get myself better and what I continue to do as I move forward in my career. Because mental health is a journey. It's not just something you can go to the doctors, see somebody for 5 sessions and you're done, you're complete mental health. It's a way of life. We have to work it into our daily, weekly, monthly lives. And sometimes we can find it a little bit difficult to do that and we have to bring it back and start again. And these talks that I do is exactly what it's all about. Just going out, giving a little bit of information, just a little bit of a nudge to say to people, how are you doing really? And if there is something that's worrying you or you're struggling with, these numbers right here on these leaflets and these information packs that we've got can help you with all of that. I hope you enjoy it. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and if there's something that we do speak about on today's video and you want to find out a little bit more, again, let us know below and we can sort all that out for you. So good morning everybody.
Morning.
Thank you. That was a good response. Usually I get silent, so thank you for that. Thank you for everybody taking time out of your day. I suppose it's a bit of a relief getting out the rain, but I'm here today just to have a quick chat about the Lighthouse and how they can help not only you, but your immediate family as well. So my name's Rob and I'm here today to talk about the Lighthouse Club. Has anybody ever heard of the Lighthouse Club? Yeah, we've got a couple people, but the Lighthouse Club's been around since 1956. Not many people know about them. Not many people understand what they can do, not only for you, but your immediate family as well. They can help you with things like tax returns. They can help with things like getting rehomed. They can help pay your bills. They can help with therapeutically. They can help sort out counselling. They can help sort out pension plans, all that sort of stuff. And every single service they do is totally and utterly free. It never gets fed back into work, it never gets fed back into partners. It is a service that is there to help and provide for you and your family with whatever it is that you need help with. I'll tell you a little bit more about what they do, but just to give a bit of background about me. So, like I said, my name's Rob. I have been a bricklayer for over 20 years now, and a few years ago I went through a mental health journey which I never ever thought I'd go through. I was very much of the opinion that I ain't got time for it, I've got too much to do. And it wasn't until it came and smacked me in my face and I almost lost everything I was working so hard for and everybody I loved that I thought, you know what, I best take this a bit more seriously. So I started off as an apprentice bricklayer for a big brickwork contractor up in Manchester, working on sites exactly like this one. I've worked on quite a lot of sites with Careys over the years up in the northwest, and I worked on things like Man City's training ground, Coronation Street with Careys, that was a Careys job, and a few other big projects, high-rise stuff, MOD work. And I managed to work my way up to be a project manager for him. And on the outside looking in, everything looked like it was going great. Earning big money, part of big teams. But all I was doing was just totally and utterly destroying myself for work. Not because I was working for a bad contractor, far from it. When I opened my mouth and I started talking about what I was going through and how it was affecting me and what was going on in my life, they got me the help and support that I needed. But I had to push myself to absolute breaking point before I'd talk about it. At the time, I had absolutely no problem with coming in and talking to everybody and saying, you know what lads, I went out last night, got pissed out my head, farted in my pants. But I wouldn't come in and say, you know what lads, I'm struggling with this. I don't know how to deal with this and I've got this going on in my life and that going on in my life. Because I was embarrassed to say one thing and not the other. And it's funny how we prioritise things sometimes, isn't it? And I also struggle with confidence. Now you might not think it's sort of up here talking to people. I don't have a problem with that. What I do struggle with is I never think I'm good enough. I never have any self-belief. You can call it imposter syndrome, you can call it the inner saboteur or whatever you want to call it. But I used to have to battle myself every single day to make sure that I was doing the right job and I was meant to be doing this and I am meant to be here and this is what I'm meant to be doing. I just had no confidence whatsoever. And because of that, it used to lead me to massively overthink problems, come up with hundreds and thousands of problems every single day that were never there. Because I never wanted to be in a canteen or in a meeting room or out on site or get a phone call off somebody and they say to me, Rob, why is this going on and what's going on with that and why is the bricklayer doing that and why are we falling off the critical path and what's happening over here? I never wanted to turn around to them and say, I don't know. Because if I say I don't know, they're going to think I can't do my job. They're going to go back to my boss and they're going to say, why have you got this dickhead running this site? He has got no idea what he's doing. I worked for that company for over 20 years and never at any point was my job in danger. I used to put that much pressure on myself every single day that I had to turn up, I had to show face, because if I do, I'm a failure. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one in this room that is the only one bringing money into the household. And it's a massive pressure, and I don't think we give ourselves enough praise for it, because it doesn't matter how wet it is, how hot it is, how cold it is, how the job is that you're doing, you have to turn up every single day. Because if I don't turn up, I can't earn my money. If I can't earn my money, I can't pay my bills, I can't provide for my family. And it's a lot of pressure, which we don't realise, and we put ourselves under. And you've got to turn up every single day, and if you're not working in the right environment, it turns into a grind. Some sites I used to grind out every single day. There's a few jobs that I did one in North Wales, it was full on war every day, like full on war, just to try and get bricks and blocks laid. Why does it have to be like that? But sometimes that's the way the industry is. And I continued with my job and eating myself up constantly inside, and then I started to struggle with things at home as well. So around about 2015, I started to notice things were really changing for me. 2015, I got married, started having kids, got another promotion, did the biggest job I'd done up to date, moved house. Usual stuff that we go through in the journey that is life. But I really started to feel the pressure and start to sink under the weight of all the new responsibilities at work, all the new responsibilities of a mortgage, all the new responsibilities of becoming a dad for the first time. My mum had been a childminder all my life, so I grew up with kids and babies around us. I knew how to change the nappies, I knew how to feed them, I knew what they needed, but when it's your own, it's different. Me and Louise had been together for 14 years before we had kids, and her priorities totally utterly changed when they came along. I get it now and I understand it now. At the time I didn't. And I started to resent my own children. I had absolutely no relationship with them for the first 4 years. Like nothing, especially Seb, my eldest boy, he got the brunt of it. I didn't feel anything for them. And everybody will say, or all my friends said to me, and all my work colleagues and all my family said, you'll never love anything more than your own kids. And you'll get this massive wave of emotion, you'll feel this and you'll feel that, and all this will go on and all that go on. I never got any of that. But I couldn't talk about it because nobody else was saying that they felt like that. So I thought I must be the only one. So I just pushed it down, I just shut up and I just got on with it. Because we just don't talk about this stuff on site, do we? And then, in between the two older boys being born, Lou had a couple of miscarriages. And everybody was like, oh, Louise, how are you? I'm really sorry, Lou, to hear that. Lou, can we get you anything? Lou, do you need anything? Nobody ever asked me how I felt about it. In the same breath, I never asked for any help. But I thought, well, I've not carried that child, so it's not going to affect me, and everybody seems to be going to Lou, so it must be her problem and not mine. Just another problem to push down, to shut up, and to get on with it. And the jobs were getting bigger and bigger that I was doing, and I was getting more and more pressure from that, and I was struggling with that, and again, I couldn't talk about any of it, because I felt like if I talk about this, they're going to think I can't do my job, and that whole cycle starts again. But there's only so long you can push stuff down and ignore it and man the f*** up and all that sort of stuff till it comes out and gets you. And for me, I was doing some student accommodation in Liverpool, end of 2017, beginning of 2018, and I was due to go away for a long weekend. I had tons and tons of holiday because I never took it. Again, because I thought work are going to think I'm not committed and I'm not part of a team. And if holiday cover come in and find something that I've done wrong out there, because there's no way we can work on projects of any size and get every single step of the way perfectly right every single time. We make mistakes. We're human beings. Details change. Drawings get updated and we miss it. But I was petrified somebody would come out and find something wrong that I've done out there, and they'll turn around and that whole cycle of I'm no good again starts. And Louise had been saying to me for weeks before, book that time off, make sure you get that time, make sure you book your holiday request in. The Thursday night came before the Friday that we were due to go away. And she went, "You haven't put that time off, have you?" I was like, "No, I haven't there." She went, "You're going to miss another holiday." I used to miss out on so much stuff. I used to miss out on birthdays, family events, holidays, because I had way more important things to do, or what I thought was way more important things to do. So after she calmed down, she was like, "Well, what are we going to do?" I went, "Well, you go off to North Wales, I'll go to Liverpool, I'll go to work on the day, and I'll come over Friday afternoon, and I'll go back into work on the Monday." So that's what we did. I went to work, normal day at work. Lou went over there, got over there, no problems. Site shut at 3 o'clock. I was still on site at 5 o'clock, exhausted from a week of putting this fake persona on, putting my mask on every single day and turning up and showing face. When in reality, I was turning up to work every day and dying a little bit more inside. It wasn't the work that was causing the problem. It was tough on site. Don't get me wrong, you've got to be made of tough stuff to work out there, especially when the weather's like this and in the middle of winter and you're picking up freezing cold rebar or whatever you're working with at the time. You've got to be made of tough stuff, and I think I'm pretty resilient. I can put up with a lot of shit. I grew up on building sites with ginger hair. I've heard every single comment under the sun. Do you know what I mean? So I've got skin like Ryan. He knows what I'm going on about. But you become really resilient. There's only so much resilience that you have. And that Friday, I was like, I ain't got time to go away. I've got too much to do. I've got silo blowing to sort out. I've got QA reports to do. I've got handovers to do. Because it's a city centre job, I had 2 Arctic loads of block coming in first thing on a Monday morning. I had to make sure I wasn't blocking everything. All the usual stuff that goes on site. And I finally got myself motivated to get up and get over there. And all the way over there, all I could think about is, this, I don't want to be here. Too much to do. Instead of thinking, I'm going away for the weekend to spend time with my family. I'm going to make some good memories. I'm going to rest, recover and get ready to go again. That was not what I was thinking about. But on the Saturday, we were out and about, and Seb, my oldest boy, really wanted pizza for lunch. I want pizza for lunch, I want pizza for lunch, I want pizza for lunch. So lunchtime came along. We made the pizzas, I handed him the pizza. And what do you think he said to me? "I don't want that pizza." And that one little problem of a 4-year-old just not eating his lunch, I could not handle. And I exploded. And I was screaming and shouting and swearing at him and telling him to f*** off. He's the problem, not me. He should be eating this. He's wanted this all day. I knew I shouldn't be talking like that. I knew I shouldn't react like that. But because I wasn't looking after myself and because I let things get on top of me, I absolutely exploded over a simple little problem. I can't stand here and say to you that this is what caused me to get to that point. It was lots and lots and lots and lots of little things that ate away at me like a dripping tap, drip, drip, drip. Problems that we could deal with normally, but because I wasn't looking after myself and I was letting things get on top of me and I was blowing things up out of proportion in my own mind because I wasn't talking about it, it was all stuck up here, swirling round, I reacted the way I did. So when I finally calmed down, I went up to the bedroom and I hid there for the rest of the weekend. I couldn't talk to anybody. My mind had broken at that point. I'd pushed it as hard and as far as I could. And your mind is still a muscle at the end of the day. It's the most complex muscle you have in your body, but it's still a muscle. You imagine going to the gym and doing bicep curls solid for years and years and years and years. Never giving them a day off, never giving them time to rest and recover, never giving them time to just stop. You're going to get an injury. And that's exactly what I'd done to my mind at that point. But come the Monday morning, I still got myself up, I still dragged myself out, and I still went to work. Because I thought, if I don't go to work, there's 30 odd bricklayers, 2 machine drivers, scaffolders, mastic people, everybody who's in our package that I was looking after. If their manager's not on site, they can't go out on site. If they can't go out on site, they can't earn the money, they can't pay the bills, they can't provide for their family, and it'd be all my fault. I could have rang in sick. I could have had the time off. It wouldn't have been a problem. But I was choosing to put everybody else's needs in front of my own. And as I was driving to work that Monday morning as well, Lou rang me and she said to me, "I'm leaving you. I cannot be with you anymore. You are destroying yourself and you are tearing this family apart. And until you get a little bit of help and find out whatever's going on with you, me and the boys are gone." So most people think, right, I've just had a massive breakdown. I don't understand what's going on in my life. An 18-year relationship's breaking down. A marriage is breaking down. I've got all this stuff going on. I best turn around and sort this out. I didn't. Said, see you later, Lou. Hung up the phone and I went to work. And I turned up to work and I got all my reports done and I got all my deliveries sorted and made sure everybody was out on site, everybody was working, everybody was earning. Once they were all doing that and they were all safe and nobody needed anything from me, I went out to the car park, because we actually had car parking on that job, and I crouched down behind the vehicle and I couldn't do it anymore. And I just broke down. And I sat there for about an hour, I didn't know what to do, and I rang my boss. I was like, Paul, you need to come and see me. So he came over and seen me. He drove over from Manchester and he was like, what's up? I said, Paul, I f***ed it. I can't do this anymore. I've let you down, I've let the lads down. Lou's left me and the kids hate me and I've done this and I've done that and that's my fault and this is my fault and I've tried as hard as I can and I'm really, really sorry, but I just can't do it anymore. And then I thought I was going to get a bollocking off him, I really did. But he turned around to me and he said to me, F work, who cares about work, let's get you some help. So that's what he did. And I started talking about it. So me and him started meeting up and chatting about things and phone calls, and I started letting go of everything and I had a bit of time off. And then when I went back to work, I went back to the site that I was on. Again, it was a big F you, this is not going to beat me and all that sort of stuff. And I got everybody together who was on that site and I turned around to them and was like, boys, look, this is what's happened to me. My head fell off, I chose to look it on the floor and I chose to ignore it. And I went on to explain what had gone on. But over the coming days, a lot of them started coming up to me and chatting to me and saying, you know what, kid, I know exactly how you feel. I've got this going on, I've got that going on, I've had this go on in my life, I used to have a drug addiction, or my marriage has broke down, or I don't see kids anymore, or family members, or whatever it was. It made me realise that I was not alone in the way I was thinking. Their story might have been a little bit different to mine, but it made me realise that we all have shit that goes on in our lives. It's how we choose to deal with it. And for me, at that time, I was choosing to do everything but deal with it. I just wanted to bury my head in the sand and hope it would all go away and everything be hunky-dory again. But it really, really doesn't work like that. It compounds a problem, makes it worse. And I can guarantee every single person in this building, every single person in this vicinity has got something going on in their lives. Ticking away in the back of your mind. You could be out on site or driving one of the machines or driving to site or writing an email and it pops back in, how am I going to sort that problem out? I need to sort this out. How am I going to pay that bill? What's going on with that? How do I deal with that situation? All these little problems, which on the road, there's still a problem, but they're manageable. But if you let them get on top of each other, one on top of each other, it all of a sudden turns into a big problem. And that's what I used to do. I just never spoke about anything. I could have had the help. I used to see all the posters around the site. I was privy to training. I had all that, but I still didn't talk about it because I thought I couldn't. But I continued with my job for a bit when I came back to work because I couldn't walk away from it. I was earning good money. I couldn't just walk away from a career like that. I caught up with Paul, my boss, again in another car park. And he turned around to me, he's like, right, what do you want to do? Do you want to carry on with your job? Do you want to drop back on the tools? Do you want to go drive one of the machines for us? What do you want to do? Tell us you can do anything you want. I was like, if I'm honest with you, Paul, I don't want to do any of it. I said, I hate my job. I'm either arguing with you, arguing with the site teams, arguing with the lads that I'm working with, and I've had enough of it. I don't want to do it anymore. He was like, well, I tell you what, finish your degree. When you've done that, do your NEBOSH and become a health and safety manager for us. And I stood there and I thought about it for a bit and I went, yeah, all right, if you want me to. Paul's a big guy from Strabane in Northern Ireland. He has this deep, booming Northern Irish voice. And that morning, he f***ing let me have it. I don't f***ing want it for me. I want it for you. I wish you would put yourself first for once. I am bending over backwards to try and help me, and you're still f***ing running away from it. I was like, Jesus Christ. So he gave me the full 2 barrels that morning. And if I'm honest with you, I needed it. Lou had made that big change. That was my wake-up call to do something, but I was still trying to resist it. I still didn't want to do the help. I still wanted to take the easy route out. So I stood there after he'd finished bollocking me that morning. I was like, well, can I do a bit more on the mental health side of things? He's like, yes, absolutely. If you want to do a bit more on the mental health side of things, let's find a role for you within the business doing that. Now, for me, this is where the Lighthouse came in for me. They do a scheme called Building Mental Health. So people who work within the construction industry, don't matter who you work for, what position you are, how big the company is, if you want to do a bit of training on mental health and wellbeing, you can apply for funding through that, and that's exactly what he did for me. He applied for me to go and do a half-day course, and then a 2-day course, and then I did an instructor course and train the trainer course, and so on and so forth. But the important thing is, the charity never ever wanted anything from me. They never wanted anything from the business. All they wanted to do was help and support me and my family till I was in a good place to go, you know what, I think I've got this, thank you very much. Now, the company I worked for reimbursed the charity afterwards because they had seen the positive effect that it had on me and how it was starting to change my way of thinking and change my role within the business. I did a talk on a site in Manchester, and Paul stood and watched me give this talk, and after I finished I went and chatted to him, and he said to me, you ain't going to be working for me in 18 months. And within about 9-10 months I'd gone. Not that we'd fallen out, he just knew my career was going down a different path. So I've now left that tier 1 contracting world that I worked in. It was wicked. I can write a really good CV, and I'm very, very proud of all the projects I've worked on and the people I've worked with. But I knew my time within that sector was coming to an end. So I still lay bricks, not that many, but I've dropped back, just do little bits of domestic work now. But when I'm not doing that, I'm out doing things like this. I'm out coming to site, speaking to amazing people like yourselves, and letting them know that there is help out there. It's okay to ask for that help and where to get that help. Now, the charity can help with things like tax returns, like I said before. So when I went to college, I got taught how to lay bricks, but nobody ever taught me how to fill a tax return in. They can help with all of that. They won't fill the form out for you, but what they can do, they say, right, fill this in, do that bit there. Yes, you can claim for that. No, you can't claim for that one, but maybe put it in that section there. They can help with things like your kid, it's just been exam season on it for GCSEs and stuff like that, and your kid could have been struggling with anxiety and stress and didn't know how to deal with it. They can help and support your child through all of that, but not only help and support your child through that, they can help and support you as well, understand what you need to do and how you can help and support them in the best way. You could be struggling with debt. They can help with all of that. They don't care how you got into that or what were the circumstances around it. They'll never turn around to you and go, why have you let yourself get like this? Do you not realise you have to do this, this and this? They'll never ever do that. They'll say, right, no problem. Let's get this sorted. Let's work out a plan and let's move forward in a positive way. You don't have to be in crisis to use them either. You might want a bit of help writing a CV. You might just want to chat with somebody. There might be something that's going on and you don't quite understand it. I've been up on a site in Edinburgh, and a guy came over chatting to me saying his son had just been diagnosed with leukemia. And he was like, I don't know how to, like all the letters that were coming in, I don't understand what they're going on about in these letters. I spoke to the outline and they got somebody to like debunk the letter for him so he could understand it. And then there's things like sleep coaches. You might be absolutely fine, but it could be 2 o'clock in the morning. You think, my alarm's going to go off in a couple of hours and I need to get some sleep and I don't know why I can't get to sleep. You can give them a call, give them a text, use the app, speak to a sleep coach. They'll help you understand new ways and techniques of getting yourself off to sleep at night, and how you can improve your sleep and the quality of your sleep as well. Dietary stuff. You might be wanting to lose a bit of weight, but you can't seem to do it. They can help with all of that. They can help with, you could be absolutely fine, but your partner could be struggling with chronic pain and you can't get in the doctors. They can help with all of that. And it's all totally and utterly free. The services go on and on and on and on. They can help with things like, is anybody self-employed in here? So, yeah, I am, yeah. So if you go out tonight and have too many Panda Pops on your way home and you fall off the curb and you break your ankle, your bills are still going to keep coming in, aren't they? But you're not going to be able to go out and earn the money, and you're not, even if you're employed, I think it's, what was it, 104 quid a week or something like that, sick pay. They can help with all of that, and they're not going to hand you a big chunk of money, but they could take over your direct debits for you and give you a bit of breather to get back quite literally on your feet. There's things like legal aid. You could have a neighbour that's put a 10-foot fence up and you don't know how to deal with it or whatever it is like that, and you just want a bit of legal advice. You try and ring a solicitor up and get them to speak to you on the phone. It's 250 quid or whatever it is. You get it an hour's free, And then that might open the doors for you to understand where you need to go with whatever it is that's bothering you. And again, if there's any services that the charity can help you with, they will continue to help you with that. You could ring up on a Monday and say that you're struggling with something. You could ring up on a Tuesday and say your child's struggling with depression. You could ring up on a Wednesday and say your partner's in debt and we don't know how to get out of it, and it's having a big effect on us. You could ring up on the Thursday with something else. It doesn't matter how many times you ring them up. It doesn't matter how many times you use their services. They will be there for you and your family. All they do is they ask that you fill a bit of paperwork out and you meet them halfway with whatever they ask you to do, and they will work with you to get to where you need to be. Honestly, they're just there to help and support with whatever it is. It really, really, really doesn't matter how big or how small it is. If it's in your world and it's having an effect on you, it's keeping you awake, making you think of it, you're struggling to understand or come to terms with something, they can help with all of that. And they're not government funded. They are all self-funded through Careys. They're a big donator to them. They have black tie events, they have golf days, boxing events, all that sort of stuff. And all that money gets fed straight back into the industry to help people just like me and just like you. They are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Doesn't matter what it is. I know I keep repeating certain things all the time, but it's important to realise it's free. It's there whenever you need it, for whatever you need it. Now, I gave everybody a card at the beginning. If you haven't got a card, give us a shout and I'll get one out to you. Has everybody got one of these cards? Yep. If you have a look on the back, that's all the ways of contacting the charity. So there is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week helpline. This helpline is spoken in 13 different languages. So if English is not your first language, it is not a problem or a barrier. And that goes along with the services that they provide as well. So for example, if Romanian is your first language and you want a bit of therapeutic support, that therapeutic support will be given to you in Romanian as well. Tech service is exactly the same. It's a real human being that you're speaking to on there. All the same languages, all the same services. Not everybody wants to ring up and speak to somebody, but you can access it through there. And then you have the QR code, which you can scan, and that QR code will take you through to what's now called a portal. And on the portal are all the services that the Lighthouse provide. And if there's something that you're looking for and you don't see it on there, still get in contact with them. They can reach out and they can find that service for you and help you and support you with that. Also on there's things called beacons. So on those beacons, it's like a peer support group, drug and alcohol stuff, porn addiction, gambling, whatever it is, and you might want a bit of group therapy. You can go on there, zoom in on the map where you live, and it'll pop up with all the things that are in your area, and it tells you locations, time, access, what you need to do. And again, if there's any costs involved, which the 99.9% there never is, the charity can help with all that as well. Now, I never got suicidal. I never turned to drugs and alcohol. I drank a little bit more than I should have, but I just turned into a miserable bastard because I thought that's what life was. You get up, go to work, earn your money, pay your bills, you go again. And I just kept going and going and going, and it really doesn't have to be like that. As an industry, we sort of have around 45 to 55 deaths a year due to accidents on site, with all the safety precautions and everything else that goes on out there, and all the Careys barriers that you see everywhere around site. But does anybody know what the suicide rate is in construction? Yeah. So in the Office of National Statistics have released a figure saying that in 2021, 507 construction workers took their own life. So that works out to roughly 2 every working day. And out of those 507, I think 8 of them were females. The rest were all males. And it's not the mental ill health that is killing all these people, it's the stigma. It's the stigma that surrounds this subject in this industry. I almost fell victim to it. Like I said, I never got suicidal. But if I continued down that path and Louise hadn't took that choice away from me, that wake-up call that she gave me, would I have got there? I don't know. I really don't know. I think I'm too stubborn and pig-headed, but that's just me. Because life is hard enough with everything that goes on in life, as well as life out on site. These guys can help you with all of that. Now, I know this has been a pretty heavy talk to have first thing in the morning, but hopefully you can take a bit of information away. We really, really hope you never have to use their services, but you could be out on site or in this canteen or in one of the vans or on the bus to work wherever, and you could be talking to your work colleague and they could go, I've got this thing and I don't know how to deal with it. or I've got this bill and I don't know what to do with it, or my child's going through this, or my partner's got this going on and I don't know how to get over the problem, you can go, I've got a number for that. And that's exactly what it's all about. It's just all about helping each other out. Like I said before, it's hard enough out there. Why do we need to make it any harder for ourselves? So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Come and grab a goodie bag if you want one. Do you want one? Cheers. All right.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
That was great, that was.
Is it all right? Thank you. There you go, guys.